Hey everyone, Spencer Kaufman here with How To Video Channel. Today I'm going to show you how to build a retaining wall to help hold up and reinforce an existing wall. So you can see here we've got our existing wall. It was incorrectly done. They've got it kind of reverse engineered into the hill. Plus they don't have any of the corner tied in, so eventually this wall is just going to tip right over. They've also done it here as well. You can see none of them are tied in, so it's going to tip over. So what we're going to do is put a wall right off of this one, straight down to this corner right here. And then we're going to make a corner here and come back and tie it into that wall. And a drain tile is going to lay from the top corner of this wall all the way down right here and wrap around right there to the end of that wall. So we're going to tie it into this wall. We're going to tie it into this wall. And then when we get right here to this level, we're going to tie it straight across into that wall there. So obviously the first step has been to dig all of this out. Then we are going to level it so that it's level from this part here, level all the way to this corner, level back to this first riser point. And then once that's all level, we're going to lay in our first timbers. The timbers will be reinforced with a 2-foot rebar that will be 1 foot above ground or 8 inches above ground and the rest below ground, and then they will be spiked together. So we will continue to build. Stay tuned for further progress. Okay, so here we are. We have the grade all level for the first course, and you can see here we've got our first piece of wood, our first timber in there, and it is all nice and level. We've got it a little bit higher than that one for settling, and pounding on it, it will shrink down. So our first step is going to be to lay this first course in. Then we are going to drill a couple holes to get some rebar in the corners. We'll also drill a hole right there and tie that in with a nail into the existing wall. So we'll come back when that is all completed. All right, so here we are. We've got the first couple courses in. The reason we put 2 courses is because we wanted to have this corner done, so you can see how we have it overlaid. So this one comes all the way, then that one goes, and then this side comes all the way, and that one butts up against it. We do this so that we can put a piece of rebar through here, a piece of rebar through here, and a piece of rebar through here, and then all of this corner will be solidly reinforced. Now this corner piece is going to be a longer one. That's going to be 3 feet, and these other 2 will be 2 feet long. And then of course that one down there will be a 3-footer. And then we are going to put another one down here at this end that'll be a 3-footer. So here we've got a seam right there, and we will do our best to alternate the seams, because you can see here we have another seam. And so these will essentially be stacked or opposite. So like right here, the next course, the seam will be there. So it'll be a seam every other course. And you'll see that on the corner as well, that it will be every other, kind of like Lincoln logs. Now, when you get down to this end, we've gone over the existing wall. That is so we can nail that right in. In fact, what we're going to do is put just a nail through here, and then we'll have a 3-foot rebar through here to hold all of those together. And then another thing we're going to do is on the 3rd course here, so after we get another one, we're going to tie it back to that existing wall. So essentially this one will go here on that 3rd course. So this will be kind of the start of our 4th course right there. And then there will be a piece of rebar here and a piece of rebar here, and then these will get nailed in on here into this one, and then we'll do our best to nail them into that one, but usually that ends up separating, so that doesn't work out so well. So our next step is to drill the holes and put in the rebar. So we'll show you that when it's completed. All right, so we've drilled holes for the rebar, but we're not going to put that in yet, because if you put it in now and it sticks up about 1 foot, then it's really hard to get the next courses on top of that. So you put this in and then put the next course on and drill a hole to line up with this one. Then we'll put the rebar in. But we have drilled holes for all of the spikes. that we can put in every course to hold these together. So with the spikes, it's a good idea to have them about every 12 to 24 inches based on the length of your wall and the size of your spike. So we're going to pound them in, and we'll put the next course on and show you what it looks like. All right, so we've got the third course on, and we are ready to put in the rebar. We will be putting in the shorter rebar pieces, as well as some more nails in the third course. So we got a shorter one here and a shorter one there. This corner one is going to be the long one, the 3-footer, and that corner is going to be the 3-footer. But every course, you need to make sure to re-drill your hole. So we'll put another nail here, and one right here, another one down here in this one, and one down there in that one. So we're going to do that. Then we'll get the fourth course on, drill it, and put in the 3-foot pieces of rebar. All right, here we are. We have the fourth course up. So what's important to note is that now we are about 12 inches up, because these are about 3 inches high. So 3, 6, 9, 12 at the top. And we are ready to put in the 3-foot rebar. And so that'll be a foot above ground, 2 feet below ground. That'll really hold in that corner and that end, and also the far end down there. Now, one other thing that we've done is we had a couple extra 2-foot sections of rebar, and so we've drilled a couple holes, one here, and then we did one in the previous course right here where that mark is, so that I remember and don't put a nail there. And so these will then get driven in as well for a little extra reinforcement. Now, one thing to note is that as soon as you're done with the rebar, you are going to want to put in the spikes more frequently. When you're doing the rebar, you put in like 1 spike just to hold the beam, or like if you have an 8-footer, you might do 2 spikes. But once you're done with the rebar, you'll want to put in a spike about every 24 inches. Now, one thing that's important to note, like for example, in this 8-footer, you would add, like let's say there's no rebar, so when we get to the 5th course, you would have a spike here, and maybe a spike here, and a spike here. Then on the next course, you would do less. So it's like 3 spikes, then you would do 2 spikes, then 3, 2, and so on, because the spikes are 7 inches long, so they will go through 2 of these plus a little bit of one. And you want to make sure you're alternating, that way you're really securing your wall. So we'll do more on that when we get to the next course. But right now what we're going to do is drive these rebar pieces in, then we'll start up on the next course, which will be our first course over here, to help hold this other side in by tying it to our existing wall. And you may say, well, wait a minute, what's up with this little gap here? We can also add some in there as well and fill it, and then we're going to have that drain tile coming in under there as well. So it'll make a lot more sense once we get the next course in and begin nailing, and at that point we can really fly. So we'll come back when we're ready for that. All right, so here we are on the 5th course. The 4th course we put those long rebar pieces in. Now we've got the 5th course laid on top, and our next step is going to be to drill holes on the end here, right here, on this end, 1, 2, and 3 for the spikes, and then in that one right there. And then you can see here on this end, we've reverse engineered the wall. It's kind of building a wall upside down. We have one, then one a little longer, and then one that's a lot longer. And then there we've just got one sitting there, so that'll be the 6th course that will start out coming on top. So the next step that we're going to do is drill these holes, pound them in, and then start up on the 6th course. All right, the wall is coming along nicely. We've got the 6th course on. We need to drill the holes and nail it. So a little pro tip here is that every course you could mark your nails. So here you can see we've got a nail there, and then we've got one right there. And then on this one, on the 5th course, we've got a nail here, and then we've got another one right here in the middle, and then we've got another one right there on the end. And so what we're going to do is every other course, so for example right here, We've got 2 nails on the 5th. They run down, they're 7 inches, so they go through 2 and then into the 3rd. So what we're gonna do is only put 1 nail right here, because it'll go through 2 and into the 3rd. So it's gonna be 2 and then 1. And then on this one, it's gonna be 3, 1, 2, right there, 2, and then 3 right there. And then it'll be, on the next one, it'll be only 2. So right here we have a short one that we'll put in 1 nail right there in the middle. And then on this long one, it's gonna be the opposite. So we've got a nail here, and we've got a nail on that end right there, and then we've got a nail right there. So on this long one, we're gonna put 1 here and 1 here, 2 only. So alternate your nails on your courses. Make sure to mark them so you know where they are, and as you're pre-drilling the holes, then you won't run into any existing nails. So we're going to continue doing this, and at this point it's just building. And so what I'll do is build it up until we get to the next course, when we start running deeper into this section there, where we're going to begin tying it into here, and then we'll have a dead man coming back into here from this wall. So as soon as we get to that point, then I will do another update. But until then, we're just going to continue building in the same format. Any questions, be sure to comment below. Okay, here we are. We have the 9th course put in. And as I said, we've just been going every other with the nails, following that similar pattern. In addition, you can see here that we have 3 courses on top of the next level. So we put a piece of 2-foot rebar in that corner, exactly like we did on all of the other corners and ends. So same process there. And as you can see, we've continued on with the nails. We're marking them, and basically we're just going to keep building this up every level, tying it in together as we go. Eventually we will get to this height, and we'll make a dead man, so one from here back into that wall to tie that in, and maybe we will even tie one in from here straight out to this part of the wall. So that's it for now. We will come back and show you the next few courses when we're ready to do that dead man or the tie-in as well. So stay tuned, and again, if you have any questions, comment below. Okay, here we are. We are on course 11. We've just completed it. So the pattern has been the same. Just continue stacking them up, alternating your seams, and then spacing your nails accordingly so that they don't run into each other. And as you can see right now, it's tall enough that you can see there's it's starting to slightly lean back. And we do this so that when the soil pushes on it, it doesn't tip the wall over further. What it's going to do is correct the wall to be straight and then continue pushing. And by doing that, it'll allow your wall to last longer, and it's also stronger. So what we're going to do now is continue to build up a couple more courses, and then we will tie into the existing wall with a couple of dead mans. So when we get to that process, I'll show you that step. Here we are on the final course. It'll be course number 14. A couple things to note is on the second to last course, we've kind of pieced in our cuts and smaller pieces, because on the very top course, we want it to be as few pieces as possible. And that is for some looks as well as extra strength, not having so many pieces that could twist and move. And so another thing is that because of our height, we didn't put in any dead mans from here connecting to that previous wall. One thing is that from this one, we could have done it a couple courses down and tied into this, but this block has so little integrity. It's just being held in by one nail. The tying into that one really wouldn't gain us anything. And then over here, we could tie into this one, but since it's so close to the top, there's nothing on this wall holding that from tipping like this or pulling out. So really, you want your dead mans to be about 3 courses down or more. And so putting one here on the top course really doesn't help. Plus, this back half of this part of the wall is going to be underground anyway, so that's not going to gain anything by putting a dead man in there. So we didn't do that. That's why. And then Over here, we've got this one tied in to the existing wall, just from nails to help kind of hold that in. Again, the main thing to note is that you alternate your nails at the top, and then as you can see here, we used to do a whole 8-footer there, but because this is the second to last course, we used 2 pieces so that we minimized our waste and then have a full piece on the top course. So we'll come back and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. Here is the finished product. We have 14 courses total. The bottom course from this back end out is about 65 inches. The top is 63, so we've done that gradual slope backward to help the push out of the dirt, as we explained before. In addition, we've alternated the nails, and also the top course has the fewest possible boards along it. And then we've also decided to add a little decorative end cap to kind of form that triangle here. This serves 2 purposes: the good decoration, and also it helps to secure the corners into the wall together as the dirt pushes out. So this is it. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Also, I hope you really like this video tutorial. Do so by clicking on that like button and subscribe to the channel to get more great videos like this. Also check out a playlist because we've got lots of other retaining wall videos as well. So also, one final step here, of course, would be to put in the drain tile and then fill it with dirt. There will be another video on how to put in that drain tile.